Hey, it's Tim. Wanted to talk about the FAIR Plan. The California FAIR Plan is the organization that was created as sort of the last stop, the carrier of last resort when you're in California and you can't get home insurance or insurance for your commercial building with anybody else. You can always get a policy with the FAIR Plan. Well, pretty much always. If you canceled before and you owe money, that's a different story. But the FAIR Plan serves a really important purpose in being able to make sure you can get fire insurance even if you're in a zone that is now considered fire prone, which is actually a lot of areas in California that weren't even considered fire areas even a year or two ago. The marketplace has changed quite a bit. So there's a few things you need to know. The first thing is the FAIR Plan policy is pretty limited. Primarily it's there to cover fire and smoke. You can get coverage for vandalism, but really when you think of the FAIR Plan, just assume that it's fire and smoke, and that's about it. The other thing is it's limited for homeowners to $3 million in total coverage. That might seem like a lot, and it might be enough for a lot of folks, but that's $3 million for the home to rebuild it. It's also $3 million in total for all your personal property in your home. What needs to be included in that is the loss of use. If you need to stay in a hotel or your house burns down, you need to rent a home for 2 years, take at least that long to rebuild it in California, maybe 3 years. All of those things have to be included in a limit that's under $3 million, otherwise you're underinsured. And so if you have a home that's 3,000 square feet or smaller, it's probably going to be enough depending on the type of construction. If you have a larger home, the FAIR Plan by itself is not going to be adequate. Even if you do have a home that's typical size, 1,800 square feet, 2,000 square feet, whatever it is, you need to have something called a DIC policy along with the FAIR Plan. And I can already see you getting confused because now we're talking about two different insurance policies, and why on earth would that even be necessary? So as I mentioned, the FAIR Plan, smoke and fire, that's all it is. What about all the other stuff? What if you get sued because your dog bites somebody? What if there's a burglary and your possessions get stolen? What if any number of things? Vandalism I mentioned, you got water damage being a huge reason that people have claims, all of the other things that a typical homeowner's policy covers. A DIC policy, which stands for difference in conditions, covers that stuff. It covers all the things that a home policy would typically cover, except for the fire and smoke, because you got FAIR Plan for that. So typically what you'd want to have is FAIR Plan and a difference in conditions policy together, and now you've got the two policies that'll protect your home. Neither of those protect you from earthquake, which is a whole other story, but at least you've got the basic stuff covered. The last thing that I'll mention, as of the time of this video, is recently some banks in California, some really big banks, have stopped accepting the California FAIR Plan as proof of insurance to satisfy a mortgage, and that could be a real problem. So if you're in the escrow, the process of escrow to buy a home, or you're going to need financing for your home, which is obviously just about everybody, and you get FAIR Plan, your bank might not be okay with that. So you want to make sure you ask your mortgage broker or your bank before you enter into that transactions. So I hope that was helpful. Have a great rest of the day.